Love it. All right, Darius, thank you very much. That is a look at the other games. Let's look at Washington's game. A couple things by the numbers here. Over Washington right now, it depends on your sports book. I've seen them as low as an 8.5-point dog, seen them as high as 9.5. Depends on where you look. Consensus right around 9. Over under this week in this game is the highest of the weekend, 55.5. Meaning the idea is that points are going to be scored in this one. By point of comparison, Houston and Kansas City, 41.5, almost 2 touchdowns less. Actually, exactly 2 touchdowns less than this Washington-Detroit game. So ultimately, Tobes, how do you see it? Like if you got to bet that mortgage, you got to bet the house, you got to, make the bet to win. How does it go? What do you see? What are some of the things you'd be taking if you were a gambling man?
Yeah, this is so tough. I think that they can cover the point spread. There's no doubt about it. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a fun one. By the way, I think there's 3 potential outcomes in this one.
Okay.
I think Detroit can win close. I think Detroit can win big. I don't think Washington can win big.
I agree.
If Washington wins, it's going to be close.
I agree with that.
And so I think 2 out of the 3 outcomes are that it's a close game. I think that can happen. So I think Washington keeps it close. But, Danny, I feel like a kid again. I can't pick against them. Mm-hmm. I can't. If you're telling me to put money on it and all my money on it, I'm not going to do it. But I'm not going to pick against them. I'm not going to pick that Washington can't go in to Detroit and find a way to get it done because they've got the quarterback. I think it's going to be high scoring. Last week I said 34-31 for against Tampa. I said Washington was going to beat Tampa. I think it's going to be a similar style game, although last week obviously didn't match that point total. I think it's the same sort of thing going in. They're going to have to score a lot of points. I'll go with the same sort of thing, 34-31. Washington goes in there. It comes down to Jayden Daniels at the end, finds a way to get it done, and we're talking NFC Championship football next week.
Darius, I go to you, sir. How does this game go? Just think about the spread. Does Washington cover? Is it a lower scoring game than we think, higher than we think? Can Washington win this thing? Just kind of give me your feel.
I wish it was a lower scoring game because I think if it was a lower scoring game, it might favor us a little bit better. But I do think this is going to be a higher scoring game. I think there's going to be a lot of emotions involved. Obviously, that crowd is going to be pumped up, but I think this team has the guts and the wherewithal to handle that crowd. Washington definitely covers. I think this team has too much passion and too much heart to be to not cover that 8.5 point, 9.5 point spread. Do they win? It's gonna be tough. It really is. Just like we've been saying all week, it's going to come down to if we can get that final possession. And if we can get that final possession, everybody in this area is going to have faith that that quarterback that wears number 5 on his jersey is going to get it done. And if we can get that final possession, I think he will. And I'm going to say that I want Washington will win. We'll see though. It's gonna be a tough battle tomorrow night.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
they're great. Detroit's great, and I think that's
how Washington fans feel, right?
Yeah.
Like how Darius is saying. Like I think anyone that is a big fan of this team, they want to say they're going to win, but you're like, oh, the other team's just that much better.
Yeah, you're doing there like they're going to win. You scratch behind. The ball has got a chance to win. You start scratching the top of your head.
Yeah.
Here are a couple things I think about this one. Number one, I think this goes under because I see a similar script, even though again Detroit's offense is incredible, but a similar path, a similar script for keeping the football away from Detroit, right? Tampa Bay's defense is much better than Detroit's defense.
Yes.
I see Washington limiting possession. So instead of everybody gets 7 or 8, everybody gets 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think that lowers the point total a little bit. I don't think there'll be a lot of stops. I don't think you're going to see either punter a whole heck of a lot based on 4th downs, based on the fact either of these defenses can really do much about the other. But I do think this game goes under simply because this is not the Big 12. We're not going bing, bing, bing pinball style, and everything will be deep over the top, open and obvious, and it's just a bunch of catch and explosions. I think everybody keeps everything in front as long as possible and makes teams drive. And I think they will drive, and I think they will score. So I think this game goes under. I think Washington covers in this game. I think Washington is close enough in this game because I don't think they're pushovers. Even if they get down, I don't count them out. I've learned my lesson. I'm sitting there sending those panic tweets when they looked abominable against Philadelphia, when they couldn't figure out which was their butt and which was their elbow in some of these games and came back and won them. I will not count them out, and nor should you. So I think Washington keeps it close enough. I will also say this. Sometimes you are watching something unfold that you don't completely understand. You know you're watching something special. You know you're watching something great. You know you're watching something that's rare, and you can't put your finger on exactly how. Fairy dust, camaraderie, brotherhood, togetherness, battle-tested, whatever catchphrase you want, the answer is yeah, because it's probably true. When you believe that you're capable of more, somehow you keep doing more, and that bar raises. Jerks like me can look at your roster and go, Jamison Crowder, Alameda Zacchaeus, De'Ami Brown, this is going to be a good offense? No. Back in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
It's great offense. There's a reason they're pros. I'm a pudgy idiot hanging out with you guys at a sports bar. You see what I'm saying? This group is different. We're going to see how different. Detroit is about to experience how different this group happens to be. Detroit, God bless you. You deserve it, but it ain't your time. Detroit, hell of a season. Enjoy the offseason, which is about to start in about 28 hours. You got Daniels. That's number 5. Remember it. You'll see the back of his jersey an awful lot as he trots into the end zone. You might get to see a couple different touchdown celebrations. God forbid there's time on that clock when you give him the football back. I'll hear the collective sealing up with the buttocks of the greater 313. You're going to get Daniels. We're coming in on Monday afternoon, people, talking about a team going to the GD Conference Championship game. The Washington 53. Your team, my team, this team isn't here to get a participation trophy. They are here to smack you in the mouth, and your mouth will be smacked. We're gentlemen, so here's a handkerchief to dab it, but you're going to have to deal with the blood. Jayden Daniels versus everybody. 26-24, last-second touchdowns to Zach Ertz sends you to the conference title game. Washington wins. How do you like them apples?
Let's go, baby.
How do you like them apples?
Let's go, baby.
The times they are changing.